My fellow Guardians, what is going on, y'all? Your dude Sly here, back at it with another Destiny 2 Shadowkeep video for you. And in this video, we're going to be taking a look at the most recent exotic quest to drop, Divinity. Now, it's not really that long of a quest in comparison to all of the other exotic quests in Destiny's history, but it does require beating the raid and every encounter in it. Since raid is not even a week old at this point, most are still learning the encounters. Now, if you need help with the raid, I have a full set of raid guides up on my channel. Everything from the very first encounter to the jumping puzzles all the way up to the full boss fight at the end. And they're not just me beating it, not like in a stream or something, it's full on a raid guide. In this video, however, we're going to be taking a look at how you can get your hands on the newest exotic trace rifle, Divinity. It's quite a unique weapon, and it's going to be included in many builds in the upcoming weeks. So we're going to go over how to get it, how to start the quest, what steps are required, and then finally what you have to do inside the raid to finish it. So to start this quest, guys, head over to the beginning of the Garden of Salvation raid. It's the Vex Gate at the center of the lake. Okay, actually it's in the Lunar Battlegrounds area of the moon. So head to Sorrow's Harbor and then look for like a red crimson bridge. You want to take this bridge and simply follow the path all the way straight until you come to the area from the very first Shadowkeep mission, where you had to hold the various plates around the area and then kill the giant Shrieker. Way on the left hand side of this map will be kind of a sort of cut through. Take that path and you'll end up at the Vex Gate. Now this is literally the exact same gate to the Black Garden from Destiny 1. I mean, the rings, the broken pieces on the outside, the blocks in front of it, the slope leading up to it, I mean 100% the same gate. Once you and your fire team arrive, wait for just a few seconds and then it will activate. Vex will start flooding the area and just simply take them out. After a few groups, one of them will drop you an exotic. It's not a weapon, but this is the start of the Divinity questline. It's called Divine Fragmentation, and the first step is to head to Nessus and activate access points. It doesn't tell you that, but that's what you have to do. There are 3 lost sectors which have these oracle-like nodes hidden within. The first one is within Artifact's Edge, the lost sector called the Orrery. Make your way inside, and then once you encounter your first set of enemies, you want to head to the left hand side and then look up. You'll see a ledge up and to the left. Jump up there and you'll find a little alcove where you can squeeze inside. Activate the node, and at first it'll say unauthorized access detected. Vex will then spawn. Kill them and try it again. After that it'll work. You'll see core analysis successful. Then you're on to your next one. What you just seen happen here will play out the exact same way in the next 2 lost sectors as well. So our next lost sector is in the Tangle called Ancient's Haunt. Fast travel back to Artifact's Edge and then jump off the back side of spawn area and take that path. Now once you're inside this lost sector, you can run by or clear your first set of enemies, it's up to you. But when you see your first set of nightmares around the corner, head to the left and take that path leading away from them. Then on the left will be a small cave. You can kind of see it before you even get there. And it's the same thing here, guys. Head inside, access it, it'll say no, clear some enemies, then do it again, which it will then accept. And the final node is located within the cistern, the lost sector called the Conflux. Once you make it inside, notice the depression on the right hand side, the kind of low-lying area. Above that is another alcove you can jump up to. Head inside that, and the third node is located inside here. Now once you get to this part, the quest step will progress to defragmentation. Basically, you now need to hop into Vex Offensive and just start shooting. Everything you and your fire team take out will count towards your progress. You have to get 120 Vex defragmentation cores. So going in as a team of 6 will get this done in just a few minutes time. Once you complete the offensive, return to Eris Morn, more specifically the Lectern, and now you have to empower it with 30 phantasmal fragments. Now I don't know about you, but I have been maxed out on these things for a few days now, so getting 30 of them shouldn't be much of a problem unless you've been buying a lot of essences or placed a lot of banners down for randoms on day 1. The good thing is that you are basically at a checkpoint once you empower it at the Lectern, and something I wish I knew afterwards, you can now buy it on all 3 characters, which I absolutely highly recommend since I pulled a 30 hours with no sleep mistake and went into the raid beating it on the wrong character without the quest, but more details on that later. So if you can, make sure you put this on all 3 of your characters just in case you mess up like I did and forget, because this next part requires you to run through the entire raid from start to finish without leaving. And since Divinity has just been discovered earlier today, I'm not sure if you can hop into someone else's raid and just beat the boss to get it, or if you physically have to do everything, which is probably the case. However, by the time this guide becomes uploaded to YouTube, a day or so will have passed, and I'm sure we'll know the answer by then. So comment down below if you know that to be the case, or if you have to do everything. Anyway guys, now we'll get the guides ready. We're on to the Garden of Salvation. There are 6 hidden areas within the raid that require you to work as a team. Once again, a tether mechanic is involved, and you have to tether each other in all sorts of various ways. The only difference between this tether and the ones that open the doors is that this is sold as kind of like a security bypass tether. So to start this final step, fly into the raid, and at the entrance or very first spawn area, you want to turn around and jump off of the ledge. Directly underneath you is a small cave with an access point. Now only one person needs to do this, but they have to have the quest empowered and on them to do it. Jump down and initialize the security bypass. This will spawn in the tether to bypass security. Now before the very first encounter, on the steps leading up to it, you're going to see 2 windows, one on the left, one on the right. These are rooms where 3 people need to go in on each side. There is a small opening above those windows up on the ledge to the left and to the right. Have 3 people drop down inside each of them. The tether starts on the left, and the lock we need to connect it to is on the right. You have to stagger your team so that the tether bounces up the levels, through the 2 windows, down to me, and then to the lock waiting below. It's pretty easy and also kind of fun. Once it activates, use the smaller window to get out. Now go ahead and beat the very first encounter, and at the area where you have to run for your lives, which by the way, an area that seems like a flawless run's worst nightmare, there are those rooms I showed you in my first encounter raid guide. The same thing happens here like at the start. You have to set people up to get the tether from the start point to the bypass lock. There are 3 entrances you need to know about. 2 of them can be found over the ledge on the right hand side. So if you're coming from the first encounter and running towards the loot chest, it's off the ledge to your right. You'll see tree roots and other ledges you can use to jump down. The first room is where the tether starts and only one person needs to be there. If you keep going back a little further on that wall, you'll see a second tunnel. Multiple people need to go through this one, as there are passages you can slide through and drop down into, which will get you into place. The final passage is back up top, but this time on the left hand side. It's pretty well hidden, kind of hidden in plain sight. Look for this square stick out on the left side, and it's kind of covered by a blind here. There is a hole nestled in between that you can drop down into. This is the final room where one person connects the human chain to the lock. Once you make the connection, the middle wall will disappear. You can now exit. Head towards the jumping area for your next puzzle. Now remember guys, the puzzle will only spawn if you have successfully completed the one before it. That's why no one has seen these prior, because the very first node couldn't be activated until the quest has been dropped and empowered. So on this tree root, you're going to see the tether start point. Shoot the tether and then notice the orange diamonds all around you. Every puzzle from here on out will involve these diamonds. Think of these diamonds as places to stand. There is only one certain way you can get the tether to form a line that will reach to every single one of these diamond shapes. It's easier if you can just get one person to take charge, or else it's going to get chaotic and everyone's going to be running every which way around and the tether is going to just go all over the place. So just have one person call everything out. Have the very first connection, which in the video was me, shoot the tether while everyone else backs away so they don't interfere or connect in the wrong order. You want to tether the box to the first player, then have that go across the gap, back to the pillar, then over to the tree roots, and then a straight line down the branch. Jump in one at a time. This will let the last person who just jumped in walk wherever they need without worrying about connecting to the wrong person. Just keep grabbing it one at a time, and once you are either standing on or next to your diamond with the tether connected, your diamond will glow. Once all 6 glow, the connection will be established, the diamonds will disappear, you will see security bypass successful message on the bottom left of your screen, and now it's time to move on. Okay, so from now on, these tether problems start to become a little more complex. The next security bypass tether will be visible after you beat the consecrated mind, the giant harpy. Look down one of the death pits and you're going to see the start of the next puzzle. This one here is a little different. This tether can actually detach from its box and stay connected across your team. You can then loop it around a pillar and connect the same diamonds, but this time 2 diamonds are up in the air. For this puzzle, it's best to label yourself in numbers for this one. Have the person shooting the tether box to activate it, which is number 1, either be a warlock or a titan. Then number 2, which is the person who gets connected after number 1, be a warlock or titan as well. Now it's not absolutely necessary, but it is easier if you match up classes. 2 titans, 2 warlocks, or 2 hunters. I was number 6 in this one, so have your team make a line that starts to form around the pillar while number 6 stays far, far away. Once 1 and 5 are connected and they start to make that semicircle around the pillar, number 6 steps in to complete the connection around that pillar, and then it'll connect back to number 1. This completes the circuit and detaches the tether from the box. Now your team can move the tether freely, independent from the source. Start walking back to your diamond areas and be sure that they glow. Numbers 1 and 2 need to be standing directly underneath their diamonds. On the count of 3, both of them jump into the air and hover in place for as long as possible. Titans can almost be stationary in air for a few seconds with the high lift jump enabled. It makes this super easy. A Warlock can float for a decent time as well, and it has to be connected and glowing simultaneously for a full second before it activates. Once it happens, watch the bottom of the screen to make sure you did it successfully. Every once in a while, a sound will appear that makes you think you were successful, and then the tether disappears, but it could be that someone broke line of sight or broke the tether because they were too far away. So be sure you see the message, security bypass successful, to be sure that you completed it. Okay, so now we are on to the next one, which is also in this area and uses the same tether box. However, this time it's across those rotating platforms. Good thing is that you can simply walk around it. So tether up again in the same order with number 6 staying back. Once the line is formed, this time not looping around the pillar, have number 6 step in to complete the circuit to detach it from its source. Slowly make your way away from the pillars and obstacles in the area, and once you have a clear area to walk, everyone stop. Have one person take the lead and count it down, 3, 2, 1, walk. Everyone walks at full speed, which on PC there really is only one speed, but on console, the less you push the joystick, the slower your Guardian walks, and that could lead to detachment. But on PC, there really is only one walking speed depending on your mobility, so hunters, just be aware that you might be a little bit faster. Walk as a team down the corridor and then take your first right. Now as soon as you turn this corner, exploding harpies will spawn in. Because you cannot shoot them because you're tethered, you need to bait them to explode. There are only a few waves of them. Bait them, and as soon as you hear that specific noise they make when they're about to explode, back it up, let it go off. Bait the next one, so on and so on. If you take damage from this, run to the middle of your group and let someone else take it next time. You shouldn't take too much damage, but if your recovery is low, then your health might not kick back in fast enough to be ready for the next wave of harpies. So have someone else bait them and stay alive. All you have to do is line up the diamonds once again, and that's it, guys. Time to move on to the final puzzle. Now, when you make your way into this next area, which is the kind of leisurely adventure, sightseeing, jumping puzzle, before you grab the hidden chest in this area, you want to start making your way in between the two Vex Milk waterfalls. There's a small tunnel obscured by ivy, but head inside and now you're in for the final two puzzles. The first one is easy. Notice that there are diamonds on the ground, but one of them is busted up. You need to repair it by connecting the tether box to a specific lock that's fairly far away. You have to stretch the tethers to basically their max between each person to get this one to work. On your way inside the tunnel, there will be a ledge up on the right hand side. Up there is where the lock is, so form a line one by one and start it by walking down the tunnel. You only need one person up on the ledge, the rest should be lining up through the tunnel. Once this goes through, it repairs the diamond access point, and now you're on to the last puzzle. This last one is a test of concentration, and here you will all need to assign yourself a number 1 through 6. Form a line from the tether box to the lock on the other side. Whatever order the tether touches you, that is going to be your number. The first person tethered is 1, then 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The order you are in is the order you need to keep yourself in for this next puzzle. You have to rearrange on the fly and make various shapes and designs in a limited amount of time. Take too long or stand on the wrong plate or diamond node and it'll cut off. You start over. I personally actually like watching this. It's almost, choreography. But as you can see, I was number 6 at the end of the line. However, I am first to the lock. So when you see the white outline on the floor of the shape you need to recreate, you have to count over from point to point to see where your number fits in. Since my position was tethered last, I was always the first connection to the lock. Even though I was last number 6 from the source, I am first from the lock. Number 5 reads my position, looks over, grabs his plate. Number 4 is down from 5, etc., etc. You have to line up and recreate the various shapes shown in a fairly fast pace. Once all of you get this right, you're going to see a notification that all the security has been bypassed, and now all that is left is to beat the Sanctified Mind, and my friends, you are done. Divinity is now yours. Well, that is, unless you do it on the wrong character. But that's it, guys. That's what happens when you don't sleep, I suppose. Anyways, that's it, Guardians. Those are all the steps for Divinity. If you need help with any of the other encounters within Garden of Salvation, I have a full guide up for every encounter. And I usually make pretty good guides, so check them out if you have any questions on certain steps. But for me, Guardians, I am out of here, my friends. As always, thank you guys so much for watching and for supporting Sly Nation. If you're new to my channel, then welcome, Guardian. Glad you stopped by and hope you stick around for what's next. Spank the thumbs up, but only if you enjoyed yourself. And if you're bored of watching skateboarding iguanas or dogs, head over to Twitter or Facebook and follow me over there at SlyNation on Twitter, SlyNation Gaming on Facebook. Once again, thank you for watching and for all the recent support. Keep those eyes open for more Destiny 2 Shadowkeep secrets, guides, and videos coming out here soon. But until then, this is your dude Sly, and I will see you guys in the next one.